Hello, hope you're having a wonderful day. Please take a seat, make yourself comfortable, grab a cup of tea or coffee, whatever suits you the more. Because today I'm going to present what is happening in regard to my personal development as a leader. My name is Alexander Torhov. I study data science in UE Potsdam. And before we really drill into how I see my development as a leader, it might be very useful to ask ourselves a question: what do I even understand as a leader? And here I write that leader is not the person who makes orders, basically. It's even not even the person who knows better than others what to do. As for me, leadership means imagination at the first place. So to be able to imagine the final picture that we are going to achieve means to be a leader and to be able to share the vision with the other parties involved is what I call the true leadership and skillfulness in that regard. Yeah, I was very happy to meet a lot of people whom I consider to be good leaders following this example. And as soon as my definition of leadership is wide, um, these people are not always have managerial position. Among those who really have managerial positions, my beloved grandfather, my ex-boss and program supervisor. Not all others really. Actually, my scientific supervisor as well is in a kind of managerial position because he is a director of laboratory of comparative social sciences, HSE. Um, so the leader is not necessarily a manager, and manager is not necessarily a leader. That's how I see my path, because I'm a kind of person of freedom. I embrace the spontaneous coordination. I'm really inspired by how society works without being told what to do. That's why I want to distinguish from actually being in a managerial position. And here in the text, as you can see, it's I try to be very personal because in our era of artificial intelligence, the text which demonstrates some definition of concepts and so on is not that valuable as personal involvement. And I think that applies not only to writing assignments for study, but also that also applies to work or creative, so making something as your Beruf, how people say say that in German. You know, accomplishing the project is not mostly about knowing the correct definitions, but rather coordinating and involving personally in what you do. That's what I strongly believe. And therefore, but still, there are business processes, right? In which their success has been developed throughout the years, and there is a path dependence, and we cannot say, okay, we just all the previous findings, they are wrong because ChatGPT has entered the chat. No, I don't think so. So I try to align my ideas and my view of leadership with the organizational culture, because what's the point of having my own view to that leadership if it has no common points with the current state of the art in the market? So here I highlight some aspects in which I might be especially useful. So this is brainstorming, bringing in the idea. Yeah, so envision, involve, integrate, These are the verbs that describe my attitudes towards brainstorming. Practical idea, yeah, so cooperation, multi-aspect discussion, multidisciplinary fields and studies. These are topics that my personal characteristics are going to be the most valuable in. Also presenting. But what I also wanted to mention about this leadership assignment is that it is highly based on the successes and insuccesses, about advantages and disadvantages of my winter semester, of my first semester as a master master student in the UE. So I've also thought, I have always been thinking that I'm good in presenting, but sometimes when I revisit what I have done, I see that I'm not all the time able to communicate, and that is also my one of my weaker points, is the lack of emotional intelligence. And you see that I'm so human oriented by in this skill inventory questionnaire. My results are the lowest for human factor. So that is some discrepancy that I have to address. So here I try to find the field which I might be good at, which is research. To be honest, I dream about making some research, and I even produce some concepts while I sleep. And also working as a data scientist in the IT production, which means that there is a data scientist, there is a backend developer, there is a I don't know, front end, quality assurance, project management. So there's a different interests, different parties involved, and maybe in this diverse in terms of skills, and I hope diverse in terms of interests, culture in this community, I might be also helpful. And so, yeah, I will address my low emotional intelligence later on. Here I write about transformational leadership. So what I like the most is this point number 4, that feedback is a gift, because being given a proper feedback might be a first, second, third, whatever step into developing capabilities and skills, and also in finding your own place, and also understanding how your action influence other. Feedback is a gift, but a gift, das Gift, means poison in German. So feedback might be also poisonous. That's what I want to bring in. So I want to follow my own understanding, yes, but more than my own understanding, I appreciate common sense, of course, and I want to be critical. Therefore, I want to be critical to what I'm saying. I want to be critical to the practices in the company. So feedback is a gift. In German, feedback might be poison, because it can produce false expectation. It can produce harmful images of you as a person on a workplace. Therefore, I should be wise and follow the logic of shit sandwich. So good thing, highlight good thing. Say what you want to say, because if everything is very, very good, you're probably not interested in giving feedback. And I cannot imagine a situation where it's very, very good and cannot be developed. So the point of giving feedback is saying bad things, but you need to say bad things in the proper manner. If you don't say that, you poison your adressant. Yeah, you poison your employee, or I don't know, colleague. So now about personal values. Interesting. Something should be interesting, and I also want to involve what is interesting to me personally into the workplace. And also, I came up with such an idea that I want to be the person in the team who sleeps the most, who eats the healthiest, and who makes the most sport. So maybe that's also a definition of leadership. The most stable, yeah, sustainable lifestyle is in the sense of leadership also quite useful, because it allows focus. And as soon as I'm freedom person, as I have said, free spirit. But I need to clarify what do I mean by freedom. So freedom means atomicity basically, and some personal space, and freedom also means in this sense equality, because if I suppose that I'm free, that I should suppose that all other persons are free, and they should trust others, don't step into the personal area, and appreciate the personal efforts that other people do. Yeah. Now about let's now discuss emotional intelligence until I have not forgotten. So this is so my leadership, my personal leadership style. It should, I believe, address both strengths and disadvantages. So my weakness is low emotional intelligence, and my strength is that ability to get motivated, get involved, get interested. So still this kind of philosophical terms, maybe academic, because as you have seen in the list of my leaders, yeah, to whose example I highly appreciate, many of those come from academia. So I'm kind of academically thinking leader. That's what I strive for, and so I can motivate myself, but I have low emotional intelligence. So therefore, I need to work in an environment where this personal characteristics, where this interests, hobbies, lifestyle, are incorporated into the routine. And so, to address the weakness of low emotional intelligence, I should ask about feelings, skills, and attitudes, not on the fly when the project is already running, but in some more comfortable space. So a company that appreciates events and healthy discussion between employees would fit my interest in this regard the most. And also, yeah, I see myself not in management but in expertise, as I have mentioned. And so self-learning and self-learning and educative practices are of high interest for me. But also, I'm in a sense compliant. What I mean here by compliance is that there are some certain situations where you should trust, where you should trust the process before you see the meaning. For example, and that has to do with something to do with sport, because in sport, if you're not striving for victory, then what's the point of you doing that? If you are Google some concepts and you don't strive to memorize them or remember or write those down, somehow structure your knowledge, so what's the point of Googling that? That's only one single moment in your life that you do, and after that you forget. No, in this sense, I should be compliant to what I do. If I try to learn something new, I should really try to learn something new. If there is some cooperative event, I should really be involved, not to step aside and wait for others to put in their effort. And if that's enough, to input mine as well, I think such a mindset, if it is, so imagine all the members in the team have such a mindset, and we assemble the situation of prisoner's dilemma, where so there is a risk of putting the effort and not get reward for that. And in such a situation, all the parties, all the employees, team members, all the students, all the teachers, they choose not to put in their efforts, and therefore none of the efforts is there in the project. So not to assemble such a situation. I don't want my team to run into that. Therefore, I should be active and make the first move. So brainstorming comes here. I don't know, facilitating discussion applies here. And these are the skills that I has not yet really enhanced. And what are other weak points? What are my other weak points? I think turning inspiration into metrics, so make your routine interesting instead of generating a bunch of moral energy. Okay, we're going to do that. I think we're doing a decent job. This the result of this project is going to be wonderful, but that happens on the meeting, but then the meeting ends and I feel disconnected from my team. Not to be disconnected, I should somehow put in line inspirations and the final goal, yeah, and the final picture that we are addressing. So my strong part, I should put those in line with the design of the process. More about design of the process, I have found that in my study teams, I usually do, if I'm making a decision, what are we doing, that usually assembles one of two polar points. We either divide the work and then compile those by pieces, so we just glue what we have, or we work on the same task altogether. And designing the process means to understand who makes the first move after he or she made the first move, passes some information, maybe acquires some new skill, and then teaches other, while this other is helping another person. So designing the complex cooperative processes is definitely a thing that I'd like to acquire, especially in a sense of human-oriented leadership, and this idea that it's not about labor, it's also about skills. It's not about efficiency, it's also about interests, and so on. So yes, here I suggest some book. I also wanted to make that personal, and I need to say that I don't like leadership literature in itself. I'd rather study what I want to study, so my technical competences and social science competences, as I see myself as a kind of coding sociologist. And after that, I reflect, like in this assignment, like in this video, I reflect how does it refer to my development as a leader. So here in this book, in this bookshelf, I just listed the sources of motivation that give me some useful knowledge, and I hope for my self-reflection skills in order to apply them actually on the market, apply them in teams, apply them on projects in the market, and discussing the world. I want to finish with discussing my yellow world. So yeah, according to the Pew Research Center, workforce of the future theory, I am attending I really stick with yellow world, which is startup, some unique value proposition, small business, entrepreneurship, market economy, free exchange. So these are values that I base on, and so my idea is Buddhist in a sense. So first, of course, we are people. We say we need comfort. We need to make that happen. We need a warm cup of tea, a sofa, a good camera, software to work with. After that, after we feel ourselves comfortable, we are people. We strive for the better. In German, it's called Sehnsucht. So that's a feeling of blue because you don't reach something. That's also human nature, to escape what you understand as comfortable. But the final stage of this personal development perspective is a change where you don't need to first can obtain some comfort. So you don't need to have some stable state and then try to think what is the next stable state. The change is becoming your comfort zone. So this is how I see yellow world. And also my idea is that if we are even asked as future leaders, yeah, what our character traits, what is our personal values, and so on, that already presumes that those character traits and those values, they do influence the market. Market is not only about material interrelation between firms and goods. Market is also about attitudes and expectations. So if we want to enhance the market, if we want to be successful, or maybe contribute to the environment, Why don't we start from the beginning, from human, their attitudes and innovations that they bring and the change, and if they feel comfortable in that change or not. That's how I understand my position in a yellow world. And the very, very final point is about social responsibility. I've mentioned that. And for example, green world, yeah, it's all about contribution of a big firm to the environment, to the community, to the planet, and so on. If you are from yellow world and you say market economy so many times, maybe you don't appreciate social responsibility. Well, I appreciate social responsibility when it's in a measurable form, when it's concrete, what can be concrete socially responsible things. Donations to charity, please, that's a very good thing. That's also raises the reputation of a company. Sponsoring some educative programs, maybe your developers, they want to help others, so why don't you bring I don't know, disabled or disadvantaged persons to the workplace, so that your employees can have that touch with the society they are living in, and to bring some good to other people. And that should be measurable, yeah. So my idea is in a sense egoistic, yeah, but I feel that that's healthy egoism. So help yourself, envision your project, and so make yourself comfortable in a changing situation, and after you are stable enough, after you have acquired resources, knowledge, and others, help others. Yeah, that might be egoistic, but still, as I've mentioned, I'm compliant in a sense. I want to read the Bible and Dom в котором by Marian Petrosyan. So there are some traits for me that are still in line with some emotional intelligence. And thank you for watching. I hope that I hope that I was interesting to you. I hope that maybe that triggered some transformational processes. But still, I want to be at some point cynic and realist, and no transformation process can happen without institutional grounds for that, as well as no personal development can happen without institutional grounds for that. So I hope that my integrated view on this topic and my human-oriented, interest-oriented view on leadership is going to help me to help others, help you, for example. Thank you for watching. Ciao.